This is Barnstable Today for Tuesday, December 2nd. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford.
The town's shooting range in West Barnstable is often a target of criticism, and it provides our focal point today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
The town's Conservation Commission covers a lot of territory, but one controversial subject it could do without is the shooting range.
However, because the range is located in conservation land in West Barnstable, the Conservation Commission plays a central role.
The commission, as part of its latest meeting, held a public hearing in regard to some proposed changes at the range. Chair Dennis Houle framed the conversation at the outset.
For the past 3 years, the Barnstable Conservation Commission has been working to improve conditions at the Barnstable shooting range located in the West Barnstable Conservation Area. We've been trying to not only improve the range, but to reduce the conflicts that have been occurring between the users and the abutters. The three major proposals to be considered tonight are a result of looking at the operations in 2008. We had a year ago decided that we would terminate the use of the range by non-Barnstable institutional users. And so that use will end on December 31st, and so the changes in the regulations will reflect that. Secondly, we've had comments from users, abutters, the police, the Natural Resources Department, Regulatory Services Department about the closing hours. There has been quite a considerable amount of comment from all parties, which seem to feel that specific closing times are preferable than having the sort of condition that we have now, which states a half hour before sunset.
The Conservation Commission's Rob Gatewood dealt with proposed changes to the range schedule, including the current concept of closing 1/2 hour before sunset.
What we try to do is to make this schedule so it still works with some sensitivity or some fidelity to 1/2 hour before sunset, so that people, by and large, following this schedule, not exactly, we do cut it close some of the time, but people can are expected to cease their shooting, get packed up, and be off of the range, and it can happen by and large it can all happen a half hour before sunset. So what the importance of that phrase is, I don't know, but I tried to honor it as best I could in this schedule.
The proposal to limit guest privileges to family only drew a lot of response during the public comment portion of the hearing.
Nice. My name is Joe Loud, for the record, from Centerville. First of all, the point about limiting guests accompanying permit holders to members of immediate family only. Two things on that. Many of the permit holders bring along a friend who might not own a firearm, just so they can have somebody with them while they shoot. Whether the guest shoots or not, I guess it's up to them. But one of the good things about that is that you don't have shooters that are by themselves. You know, it's kind of a safety issue if you get somebody by themselves shooting. I'm not sure how many of you have shot before, but if something happened and you didn't have somebody there, you didn't have a wife or a child or somebody to come with you, you know. And I'm not sure how many people here are permit holders, how they became permit holders, but I'd venture to guess that most of them started out as guests. So in your effort to get more membership, more permits, sell more permits, I think you might be, you know, putting the cart before the horse a little bit on that one. On a legal issue, many of the permit holders bring along more than one firearm at a time. The law states you can't leave any firearms unattended. If you get somebody downrange shooting a pistol and they're by themselves because they can't bring a guest, then you've run the risk of them having to go back and forth, up and back, up and back, up and back, and possibly the temptation because of the long walk for them to leave firearms at the stand, which would not be a good thing.
There were some who suggested that all agencies, including the Barnstable Police Department, move their shooting to the ranges at the Massachusetts Military Reservation. That was rebuffed by Sgt Dama of the BPD.
Good evening, Sgt Dama, Barnstable Police Department. I just want to bring up a couple of points. One speaker had indicated or suggested that the Barnstable Police go to Otis to shoot. In order for us to do that, that would cost us about $4,000. There is a per person fee to use the base. The base is not just this like a cure-all. In fact, there are times where they can't use their own facilities out there. The Coast Guard, if I'm not mistaken, availed themselves of the opportunity to use the West Barnstable range about a week or so ago. And that's because their range, for whatever reason, was either down for maintenance or was otherwise unavailable. For us to try to qualify to have our officers go out there and do the shooting would be $4,000 that, quite frankly, we don't have, and we're not going to get it. You all know the financial condition of the town, and every month it seems as though we're going to be cut back a little bit further. With regard to the hours of operation of the range, my suggestion would be to post a last shot time. If you did that once a month to correspond with whatever the sunset time would be, post a last shot time and give the copy of that to the police department.
On a monthly basis? Is that
Weekly basis, a monthly basis. There's plenty of space down there that postings could be put. As people come in to renew their permit, or as new people are issued permits, then they would be given that month's last shot list time, and it would then become incumbent upon them to familiarize themselves before they start to shoot, so that they would know when their last shot would have to be. That way you don't have people rushing. There isn't any question about that. There's also been some discussion as far as complaints or violations of the hours of operation. When we get a call about a violation of the operation hours, we'll send an officer out there as expeditiously as we can. I noticed what the Conservation Commission has been doing is they actually put a different lock on the range at a certain time each day. What that does is the permit holders, at that point, if you have a key, you can't get into the range after hours. They obviously go in and they check to make sure that nobody's in the range when they do that, and then they leave. And I suggest to you that practice be continued, and I think that's worked fairly well. Additionally, during hunting season, there will be shots fired in proximity to the range. As you know, there's pheasant hunting out on the power lines or out in the Trail of Tears general vicinity out there. That sometimes can be confused for activity at the range when, in fact, there is no activity at the range. The other lock is still in place at that point, and even permit holders that wanted to couldn't access it without walking up. And I suggest that it's a pretty long walk, particularly if you're going to be carrying your equipment with you.
The Conservation Commission closed the public hearing and has taken the shooting range proposed changes under advisement. They plan to revisit the subject matter at their January 6th meeting.
Meanwhile, our good weather is hanging in for a while. Tonight, clearing skies and chilly with a low of about 30. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine in the mix. Southwest winds at 5 to 10, gusting to 20, and highs in the upper 40s.
On the meeting front here in town, 3 sessions tomorrow evening, all beginning at 7 o'clock. The Charter Commission will be meeting in the 3rd floor Growth Management Conference Room in the Town Hall. A public meeting for the Lake Wequacket Water Quality Assessment final report in the hearing room. And in the School Administration Building, it's the meeting of the Highness Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.